Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video, I am going to be completely building a living wall out of a Rudsta IKEA greenhouse cabinet, and I'm going to be affixing it with Mother Grow Lights, which are actually the sponsor of this video. This project took me a really long time in terms of Ashley time, which is probably not that long, but it took me about 6 total days. I was originally inspired by Benji because I started watching all of his content and I just got swept up in all of it, and he makes plants look so fun, you guys. I originally scaped my paludarium, not scaped, but put together my paludarium like I did in the video before, and I thought that would like quench my desire to do this project. It didn't. I ended up trading a strawberry shake to a very nice lady who decided to trade me a Rudsta, which she had never opened before. She bought it and then just never put it together. So I traded her a shake top cutting, and it was a really cute shape top cutting, okay, but you guys, it was so worth it when you see what I've done to this thing. Before I get too much farther into this video, I do want to let you guys know that this entire process of doing this whole thing, it really tests your patience, it tests your morale, and it tests like just you. This process was really hard. I'm just gonna I don't know, I feel like a lot of people make it sound like, oh, I built my greenhouse and it was so much fun and there was definitely nothing that ever went wrong. And let me tell you, like, doing one of these things, like, just respect the project. Don't be like, oh, this is gonna be a one-day thing, because it's not. You need to respect the project, respect the process, respect how difficult this is gonna be to do it right the first time, which is what I tried to do, and don't rush. I don't know, just like, people make this thing sound really easy, but building this was actually really hard, and I honestly cried once because of this. So I'm incredibly glad I did it. I don't know that I would make another one, at least not for like a really long time. I followed Benji Plant's guide on how he built his, as well as Ghost Honey's video, which is where him and Jahao build the cabinet, and Jahao like takes over the channel. It's incredibly hard to find a video on how to turn a Rudsta into a paludarium, because there's like 2 people on YouTube who've done it, from what I can tell, done it to what I want to do. Not just like, oh, we're building this cabinet, we're gonna weather seal it, and then that's it, and we're just gonna put the things in there. Like, no, what I wanted to do was make a living environment full of my plants. The first part of the process was to set it all up. This part was actually surprisingly easy. I was a little worried about attaching the windows, because in the videos I watched, it seemed like that was the hardest thing for one person to do by themselves, especially since IKEA recommends that you do it with another person. The instructions are super easy to read. The whole thing is very easy to understand. However, I ran into a problem when my weather stripping was too big. You can keep using weather stripping, but you can also just seal all these edges you're seeing me line with silicone. That's what I ended up doing, and I think honestly, if you can handle the smell, it's much better to do. The weather stripping does work. You just need to make sure you get really small weather stripping. Also, inserting the window was super easy. I didn't have any issues. I think it's fine to do by yourself. You just have to be extra careful because of the glass. Okay, so I've already run into a problem. The weather stripping that I bought was too thick. What I'm gonna do instead is I think I'm just gonna like straight up seal everything with the aquarium sealant that I bought. After, like, the doors are really close together, and maybe I'll try to add it after, before we do this, because this is really smelly. So something I would do differently is that before continuing to build this out, what I would have done is attached the windows to both sides, done the hole, and then I would have started sealing the silicone around the sides. It was really hard for me to seal in the windows and the sides where all the cracks are, because there are a surprising amount of cracks for this being a quote-unquote greenhouse cabinet, where it would have been a lot easier for me to not have so much smell if I didn't have the greenhouse being enclosed. If it was open and I could move around it easier, I think it would have been a lot easier. So I would have probably done the windows and then waited 2 days while the silicone dried to attach the back in the rest of the cabinet. The next difficult part was doing the hole. The hole that I did was 2 inches, and I bought a 2-inch grommet from Staples that I don't recommend. I will put a link in the description to one that I think would be better. I was incapable of doing this by myself. I had to ask my husband to come help me because I do not know how to use a drill. This was very upsetting for me emotionally because I really wanted to do the entire project by myself, but I lack the skills and resources and experience with power tools, so Christopher came and helped me with that. He also did the second hole on the top. It is worth noting that it does take longer to drill the hole than you think it would. You'll kind of be standing there for like a minute or two while you're like drilling through it. Definitely make sure you have protective eye and mouth gear because the little shreds get everywhere. Like they can get in your hair, you could breathe them in. You just want to make sure you're being safe. Now that I think about it, I think if I would have done it differently, I would have drilled it out the back panel actually, and made a little hole through the moss and the foam for the wires. I think that's what I would do. After I had weather stripped the cabinet and built the cabinet, the next thing I had to do was seal it with silicone. And I cannot stress this enough. This was absolutely the second worst part of this whole process. Not only does the silicone smell really bad, but there's also ammonia in it, which means it can make you really sick. I used the silicone with gloves, but without a face mask. And also the garage was closed and I didn't think to open it until later. So everything was fine overall until I stood up and put my head in the top of the cabinet to do the top part. And then I got a big whiff of silicone and I felt lightheaded and nauseous for literally the next day. And that's because silicone releases ammonia as it cures. So I literally just got a freaking head full of ammonia. And I didn't use silicone for the rest of the whole project. So I literally sealed it because that's what Benji recommends to do in his video, is like seal it with a silicone instead of foam. So what I did is I took a credit card that I don't use anymore and I put the silicone in all of the gaps and then used the card to like flatten it out so it gets pushed in there. It did take a whole 48 hours to cure. So after I had built it, it literally just sat in my garage for 2 days. We didn't go in there because it was just like fumes. Anyways, so use a mask and do it in an open area. You absolutely do not want to use silicone in a closed space because I literally got sick from it. It was awful. Once all that stuff had been finished, it was time to foam the paludarium. I feel like a lot of people didn't really mention in their videos is how fast you will run out of foam. For me, I literally bought 2 cans and I thought that that would be enough, but I literally, you guys, I used 10 whole cans to scape the entire back of the paludarium. And I even used blocks to foam over to try to give it some depth. I know in Benji's video, he used like plastic cups and pots and stuff, but I used the cardboard because I figured if the cardboard gets like gross or whatever, like the foam will still stand. So like if the cardboard's being gross, it'll be gross. Also, one thing I did not do was seal the metal. So in Benji's video, he recommends that you use an enamel sealant on all the metal pieces, or maybe just the back piece, I'm not sure. And then you put it together. I decided not to do that, mostly because I wanted to see if the metal would actually rust and how long it would take to rust. So the foaming part was probably the most fun, except for the fact that I had to run to the store and I bought like a ton of this stuff. But actually I bought the exact right amount. Like I used all 10 cans. Then it took another 48 hours for the whole thing to harden. So I had to just like let it sit in the garage, harden, do its thing. Then it was time for me to scrape it, which is kind of like where you go through and you shape everything. So I bought a sander, like a block, like a sponge, but it's like sandpaper. And I went through and I wore a mask because the fibers will get everywhere. You don't want to breathe those in. And I went through and I just like went crazy on it. I carved it and I tried to make them pretty even shelves. What my original intention was going to be to plant the plants into the shelves. What ended up happening was that I did not make the shelves deep enough. So if I did this again in the future, I would definitely make longer shelves, but I didn't want to make them so deep that light from the mother grow lights wouldn't get to the plants. Most of the plants in my cabinet actually are pinned into place with metal enamel wire. It's called floral wire. You can get it at Home Depot and Lowe's. Get any of my products from Amazon. A lot of people order stuff from Amazon, but I wanted to like do it, so I just went out and bought it. Most of my plants are pinned into place if they're on a shelf, and I have a lot of plants that are pinned into climbing positions, so that way they'll like kind of move around the foam. This was the most like part where I got to do most of what I kind of made up, which is that in Benji's video, he puts down the foam and then he seals it with silicone, and then on top of that he tries to add moss, and then he pins the moss into place. He uses sheet moss. I think he uses living sheet moss, which I don't have access to where I live. He says not to silicone the foam in, and so I didn't, and I'm really glad I didn't do that because there's no way. After the first time and then being sick for like a day after using the silicone, like there's no way I'm like doing that again. What I did was I foamed the back and then I shaped the back. Then what I did after it was sanded, and I didn't sand everything completely, I wanted everything to be kind of lumpy so it would give it like texture. Benji in his video, he like takes foam and sticks orchid bark and like Australian tree fern bark and like a bunch of stuff into his foam. I didn't, I just did foam, which means that like he didn't have to do quite as much moss as me. My back is completely sphagnum moss, 9.5 bags of sphagnum moss, and an entire spool and a half of enamel floral wire to secure the moss into place. This was by far the worst part of the entire project. And if you are going to do this and you're going to use my video as a reference, you need, I can't stress this enough, you need to get living sheet moss before you do this, because individually taking little handfuls of moss and then making the wire and then sticking the wire into the foam, the Rudsta's a lot bigger than you'd think it is. It took me 14 hours.
This ended up being such a long process because of the fact that I decided to not use sheet moss because again, it was not available to me in my area. The only option I had was to individually pin little bunches of sphagnum moss all over the entire area. I started this process before noon. I did not finish my entire project until about 3 or 4 in the morning. It took a very, very long time. I don't recommend it. I have a knot in my back and I'm not trying to like complain, right? Like it came out great. It's basically one giant moss pole. But if you can get live sheet moss to make this easier for you, because then you only have to do a couple pins, 100% do that.
Hello, I wanted to do a slight morale check-in because I'll be honest, the morale is extremely low. If you're gonna do this, definitely find a different way to do it than I did. So one thing I didn't do was I did not take a bunch of adhesive and stick the moss to it, because I've been told that the adhesive is toxic to plants, and therefore if you put plants in while the adhesive is still drying, you'll just like kill the plants that you've put in there. One thing that one of the people whose videos I watched recommended is to apply the foam and then immediately put the moss into it. I really do not recommend doing that. However, because I didn't use sheet moss, which was probably the biggest issue, this has taken an extremely long time. I've been doing this for 5 hours, exactly 5 hours, and I am still not done. I have run out of wire and I need to go get more. On top of that, I am worried that because morale is low, that I am uninspired to make it look good. So I am a little worried that
morale is low.
It is low, Chris.
Why are you talking like
because that? I've been doing this project for 5 days now.
Everyone has said the morale is low.
I have said the morale is low. My morale is low. Also, I'm pretty sure my hands are like permanently pruned from the moss, but I don't think that doing this in gloves would be beneficial because I don't think you'd be able to feel what you're doing. Additionally, I have discovered that I do in fact need to seal in the glass panel in the front, and so that's going to make everything smell like disgusting silicone, unless I decide to foam it, which looks like shit. I haven't exactly found a solution to that problem yet. Good thing I have time. I'm still waiting for the lights from Mother. So I have time to figure it out. The thing is that I need to wait to put the plants in until the silicone is done being silicone. I think if I would do this differently, I would have used sheet moss. I would have like found some good sheet moss and like waited. And then that way I could take big sections at a time, but instead I've literally just been taking tiny bunches of moss and manually pinning it in, which is taking a very long time. It does look very good. It definitely looks like a jungle, and I am going to probably try to find some bark or some sort of like natural looking. That's my check-in. I have to go get more stuff and then we will finish the moss wall. It's really almost done. It's gonna probably take maybe another hour and then the moss will be done. And then I can figure out how I'm going to seal the glass in the front. And as I was doing it, I was like, this doesn't even look good. And I started to have a mental breakdown because I'm 5 days now into this project, or maybe 4 days into this project. And I'm starting to think, oh my God, this looks like shit. I kept going and I kept making the moss. We had to go buy more moss. I ran out of moss. Came back, I made the moss. Morale was getting higher again. We got some food. And I think I just needed to take a step away and take a break. I sat down, I finished it. And when the moss was done, I was filled with this moment of like, oh my gosh, okay, now it's like time to plant the plants. Like this is, I thought I was gonna get to plant the plants 14 hours ago, but no. And then while I was doing it, I was like, I'm not gonna get to plant the plants until tomorrow. But I finally reached this moment where it's like, oh my gosh, like this is the fun part. I get to plant the paludarium. Hello.
Hi.
Perhaps you could.
Wow. I think that looks great, Ashley.
Thanks. I'm working on it. Basically,
It's a lot of moss.
I've done the moss. I literally had to individually pin all of the moss into this. One little pin at a time. And sometimes it falls out, but I'm not gonna worry about it. Basically what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to decide where I'm gonna put what. I've decided this is gonna probably be my favorite shelf, so I have like my Ilsamania right here. The Oblique, which I've cut a lot to do trades. In here I still have another top cut Ilsamania, like the Ace of Spades. Pelletiflorum, lots of stuff I have to take out. But I'm trying to be really careful and trying to remember where I put things. Like I lost my Pothos barbarianus, which I will find. Because the thing is, it's microscopic though, so I'm gonna have to like go through the soil. I am doing my best, you guys, but here's all the plants on the floor. They have to go be put away. But they're all doing really good. Like you can see where the roots have started breaking out of their balls and started trying to grow. So like this is a sport node I'm growing in, and he's been happy. He's actually growing in from 2 spots, so what I'll do is, I'll do this right now actually. Cool, so now we got 2 guys instead of 1.
2 guys.
2 guys. Yeah, I don't know, there's just like a lot going on. I just wanted to kind of show you a progression. Everything's growing. Like this is my node cup. Literally all of them are pushing growth, so that's great. This is my node pile back here, so I don't know. All the begonias. I'm thinking the begonias and stuff are gonna go like here.
Do that again.
Oh, the begonias are gonna go like here, and then the orchids I think will go up high. The cool thing is that all the orchids are being hung with wire. So I can literally take this wire and stick it into the wall. So they'll be able to hang in the wall. Some of them I think I might even take off their mounts and plant directly onto the moss.
It's pretty cool, Ashley.
Isn't it? I think it's cool. I think once it's done, I'm gonna think it's worth it, but you guys.
Pretty frustrated, but this already looks really awesome.
I was really like, but when we were on our way to Lowe's, I had like had it. Chris was like trying to be nice, and I was like getting really persnippety. Persnickety?
I don't know.
I don't know. He was like being extra sweet, which was really nice, but I was having to watch what I was saying because I noticed
Cut that off.
because it's like being gross.
Oh.
Sorry if this isn't the best angle of me, but like I'm fucking busy. What do you want? Anyways, I'll see you guys in a bit.
Love you, houseplant friends.
Now that I was finally getting to actually plant the terrarium, everything was coming together. I had a vision. I could see the vision. As I added more and more plants, it became so much more worth it. I thought the most fun part so far was when I got to trim and lay the foam, because that was just like fun. It was so easy. And then when I got to shape it, it felt like I was kind of shaping the world that I was creating for my plants. It felt like the only time so far that I had gotten to have like any artistic direction over what was going to happen. And now suddenly it's like I'm getting to go plant shopping and pull different plants and place them in certain places and make them just look so good in this new habitat that they get to have. Whereas before they were just in this black box where they were just being kept away. I could never go look at them. I couldn't enjoy them. Now it was like I was getting to pick pristine samples of these species and genera of these plants and place them in an in situ kind of like environment where they get to actually be themselves and grow out how they would in the wild. They can climb, they can vine, they can do whatever, the leaves can get big. And all of a sudden it was like all the prep work was done, and all I had to do now was just make it look beautiful and give my plants a really good home.
Here's one other thing I did not do. You'll see a lot of paludariums, and the thing is, a paludarium and a vivarium are different because a paludarium is meant to have a pond in the bottom of it. I did not do that. I have no desire, I have no experience. I think that would be cool. When I watched other people's videos on that, it seemed like they had more trouble and eventually just took the pond out. So I decided to not do that at all. So thanks, besties, for letting me learn from your experience. And so because of that, I decided to not put anything in the front of my terrarium. So most people, you open it and they've taken one of the glass shelves and flipped it on its side and put it in front and sealed it into place. I did not do this. Now, you know what? I'm beginning to question maybe I should have the glass door. If I use it, it will mean I can like plant things in it because there'll be like a solid base. You know, like a clear bin in the front. However, yeah, I just have nothing to attach it with. And also it's like pretty big because see how that has the glass piece in front and it keeps the plants from falling out? Basically,
when you open it?
It would serve as a wall so that I can plant things here, and I'm starting to think it's necessary. I like the look of like being able to open it and it's just like here.
Yeah.
But I would probably need some sort of something, at least like 2 inches, to keep everything in here and like nice, I think.
Yeah, I would agree.
But I don't know what to do, and so I thought I would
Do like a log.
input. A log?
Yeah, like a small little log, like a twig. Like something no bigger than the thickness of this. Maybe double that, maybe.
Oh my god, I have a 2x4. I have this.
Yeah, but like...
Watch this be the perfect... Shut up. It's like the perfect fit.
Almost. Yeah, that's basically what I'm saying. You just put like a little log there. It could be round, it could be square. But when you open it up, stuff doesn't spill out because that's there. You're not gonna fit that in there, Ash.
Do you think you could use your saw and like take off an inch? You could do it right now?
Yeah.
Awesome. That was literally the perfect amount.
Wow.
It fits like precise.
Wow. And if you really want it to fit like even more, you could put like texture stuff on the edges and like slide it in.
Oh, like this shit?
Like anything. I think the biggest thing is like you should put some like glue or something on the ends of it and put some of that mossy stuff on it and then put it in there.
I'm trying to decide if...
fully...
Let me show you what the shelf looks like and you can tell me if you think it'd be better. I kind of think it'd be better, but I don't want to do it.
She's forgetting you again, Razor.
No, stay there.
Oh, apparently we're supposed to stay there. I like the wood thing more, Ashley, because the wood thing is not going to get in your way if you want to like get down here. Where this will get in the way. But
yeah, but
maybe you like it more. I don't know. I think they both look good. I think it's literally up to preference. Plus, it doesn't look like you need anything to install that. You can just keep it right there and just make sure not to hit it.
yeah, you're kind of right. And if it tried to fall, it would stop.
I mean, even if it tried to like fall, you could put like a wood thing here.
Hey, maybe that's the fucking purpose. Like maybe what we do is we leave it like, cause it stays in.
Yeah.
You know, like that. And like it will catch itself if it tries to fall, but then I can take it out to work with the plants.
There you go.
That's smart.
No, I don't like the fact that when you take the glass out, things will fall. You should have
Well,
something.
they won't be because it's wet. Like, see how all the moss is like dry and so it's getting everywhere?
Yeah.
Like when the moss is wet, it won't do that. I think if it didn't require me to use silicone again, I would have done this. But I did not do it, and I'm really glad I didn't because it's really cool because you open the doors and it's just plants and you don't have to like work around a shelf. You can just work immediately like down low with all the plants. So once I started planting the palletarium, I came to the realization that I would be needing to pin most of the plants into the wall. And while I meant to make something that had a little bit more depth to it, what I ended up making was basically a living wall. At first I was kind of sad about. Then as I was making it and finishing it up, I was like, this is really cool. And I'm really, really glad I did it the way I did it. So remember earlier when I was like, don't use this moss. Like if you want to use 9 bags, no, I think it's 7.5 bags of sphagnum moss and do all this work, go for it. One mistake I made was that I drilled the hole in the bottom right. If you're facing the cabinet and you're looking at the cabinet, right, and the doors are in front of you, I drilled the hole in my bottom right. What I also did was foam over a big fun shelf, but then I realized I wouldn't be able to get the cords down to the bottom out the hole. So I instead took the grommet and set it to close and just put it there and put a bunch of moss over it. And I drilled a second hole into the top, which was fun. I held a little bowl on the inside to catch all the shavings, and Christopher drilled the hole in through the top because I tried to do the first one, but I was really unsuccessful and I kind of like messed up the shelf a little bit. Like I made it scratch a little bit. I don't have experience with drills, so I didn't want to hurt myself or like ruin the cabinet or anything. After I finished the cabinet and got it completely scaped and planted, I had to wait on lights. I had to wait on lights for 3 days, but let me show you the lights I used. This video is sponsored by Mother, and this is actually kind of funny. So they actually reached out to me in December of 2021, and I didn't respond because one of the most things as like a plant influencer, the most common brand type that will reach out to you is lights. And so I saw that they were lights and I just moved on. I didn't open it because like I get light people reach out to me like literally all the time and it's just a lot, right? However, when I was watching Benji's video, he talked about how he was using lights from Mother. And then he talked about how Fern had used lights from Mother and he had seen Fern do that, and I'm friends with Fern, so I checked Fern's thing and Fern was also using lights from Mother. So I was like, well crap, like I want to use these lights, so I looked them up. And they're like bougie, nice lights, you guys. Like they are top of the line, like best in the market, in my opinion. Like not only do they look nice, but they're waterproof. They're so freaking nice. So I checked my messages, because at this point I didn't know that they had reached out to me. I didn't notice. And again, it's March, right? So it's been like 4 months, close to 5 months since they reached out to me. And I just searched for Mother. Then I see Mother's there and they sent me a DM in December. So I reached out and I just messaged them back and I said, hey, you still down to do a collab? And they responded instantly and they were like, yes, what do you want? And I was like, well, here's what I'm doing. And they were like, well, we got the goods. And I was like, sounds great. So Mother actually sent me a variety of a couple different things, which thank you so much, you guys. Like they sent me extras. I'm gonna be trying out their in-home gardening stuff soon, but they sent me the 132 Spectrum. This thing is long, okay? Long, very, very big. Then they sent me 4 16-inch Spectrum lights, which is really, really nice because they told me they were gonna be sending me 2 and then the 32 inch, but instead they sent me 4, which is wonderful, and I'm going to be installing and using these in my house, so stay tuned to see that stuff when it happens. But I have 2 of these in my grow tent, or in my, it's not a grow tent anymore, we've upgraded, besties. We have upgraded. So I have 2 of these in my Rudsta right now, and then I have 2 more to set up, and then obviously the big guy. And on one of the little boxes, it literally says, enjoy, we love you, or whatever. And then they sent me this is so cool. They sent me an automatic microgreen salad and garnish kit, which is kind of like a nod to what they're gonna send me once they're done with it. But basically, they're working on this like indoor farmer stand that has grow lights on it. It's so cool. So I thought that that'd be fun. We can compare like indoor gardening, like urban gardening, and then like outdoor gardening, because I'm gonna do outdoor gardening this year. But yeah, how cute. Anyways, so thank you so much, Mother, for sponsoring this video. These are full spectrum waterproof grow lights. They look bougie. Like, I feel like when most people think of bougie plant lights, they think of one brand in particular, but Mother, these are nice. They're not warm and they're not cold. Like, they're a complete full spectrum. I feel like most people, when they have like nice grow lights, it's very like yellow and warm, and that is not really my vibe. I want more of an even tone. In about 3 weeks to a month, I'm going to be doing another sponsor video by Mother where we compare the growth over the last 4 weeks. As I was watching everyone's videos, everyone for this project uses Mother lights. So if you're not using Mother, what are you doing? By the way, IKEA did not sponsor this. I literally just got this one because this is the one Benji used, and I liked that he used this one instead of the Mills bow that everyone gets, because I don't really like the Mills bow. I don't like how it looks. So when I saw him use something different, I was like on board. So up here, right off the bat, you can see we have the grow lights. They are attached with magnets and a sticky pad that is surprisingly strong. You can actually see the sticky pad on top of the magnet, and they do not budge. I have them as far forward as possible. Here are all of my plants. These are all of the plants that were in my grow tent. And like I told you guys, I was getting increasingly tired of the whole keeping my plants in a black box thing. They're literally on a living wall in my office. So starting off up high, I have planted all my Hoyas and all these little shelves, and you can see the foam peeking through in some spots because I have to go back through and fix a couple things, which you'll see me do in this video in a minute. But I have all of my Hoya. So this is my Hoya Wilbur Graves. This is my Hoya Bella Onica and my Hoya Bella LaBois. I have a cutting of a little campo I stuck up here, one of my friends gave me. I have my Hoya Ficii, which has literally already started to grow since being in here for like 3 days. I have my Hoya Crassiopetalus Splash planted right here, and I've pinned his vine to already start going. Hush Kellyana Variegata, my Hoya Walliniana Variegata right here, and this is its new leaf. My Hoya Sigillatus Alice River, tucked back in here. I have a philodendron heartleaf variegata, Heteroecium variegata right there, and he's pinned in the wall. Then I have all of these little Ecuador glaucus or small silver philodendrons also pinned into the wall right here. This one just gave us a new leaf. Then right here I have planted some orchids. I took these orchids off of their mounts, except for this one. This one's still on his mount because I thought he just looked really cute and I liked the cork bark. I took all of my other orchids off their mounts. A Lepanthes gargoyle. It turns purple. I'm really excited for it to get really purple with the light right there. And then this is a Cattleya. This is another Cattleya. Then right here, I have my huge Anthurium pallidiflorum, who already is giving us a new leaf. Like you guys, I can't even tell you how happy my plants are in here, but they are doing so good. And I think he looks really fun, just like kind of hanging off this part of the wall. He is attached with wire, and then his roots are tucked into the back and they kind of trail that way. And I've planted these other Hoya within his like root moss. So right here we have Hoya carnosa stardust right there. We have two Hoya Borneo, just kind of like right here. We have a begonia I like stuck in the back right there. Then we have my Hoya Sabah, which is tucked right here, this guy. He's very fun. And then I have a little Thomsonii, which is attached to one of these Borneos. So they're stuck together. Then I have another Borneo, a Rinsii Borneo right here. And my huge Hoya Clemensorium, and his guy is like all the way wrapped around. So he's got a big old feeler going on. But they're all doing really good so far. Then I have a couple more orchids. So I have this one I kept on its mount. I just popped the mount right into the foam. Then I have this one, which I took off its mount and have attached to the moss, and it seems to be happy so far. Then I have a little Begonia lecionora, which is like a mini Sarawak, and then another little Ecuador glaucus silver guy. Then I have this really cute orchid. Like, this guy's so small, and he gave us a new leaf just today. So that little leaf right there is brand new. Then here I have planted upside down one of my bulbophyllum. I don't know what kind it is, but this is the one that gives me those beautiful flowers that I just love so much. Then starting over here, I have another philodendron hederaceum variegata, who is currently about to give us another new leaf. And again, he is like literally directly pinned onto the moss. You can see his roots kind of hanging down right there. Then I have this Mame. I don't know if this is a silver or a normal one, but it's pretty. He's planted on this shelf, which I'll get to in just a minute. Then right here, I have my Begonia Promethia, which has been really happy since I put it in here. He's living his best life. And this one actually is more of like a shingler, even though it has huge leaves. So he's just kind of chilling. I have I think this is a white wizard, this guy. A variegated Micans cutting. I traded, remember, a cutting to Devin to get his big monstera that is actually right here. And then I traded a top cutting to Martha, just because she's just nice and I love her. So this is the last leaf I have, which is the prettiest leaf, and he has been very happy so far. We'll see him grow up and around. Here is an Arangus punctata, which is giving me a new leaf. This thing hasn't given me a new leaf since I got it, and it's been in here for like, what, 4 or 5 days, and it's already throwing hands. I have a couple begonia in here I don't know the name of, and I'm sorry. This is one of them. It's very beautiful, but I don't know what it is. Then I have the Gloriosum. I exchanged Devin. This guy's also giving us a new leaf since being in here. So again, very, very happy guy. We have my white princess, which is tucked right there. I cut off its leaves, that kind of looked gross. And then I have my Begonia Jehoii, my Begonia green chloristicta, which gave me this leaf after being in there for 3 days, so brand new. We have a begonia tucked into a hole I made back there. This is my Peperomia tuberensis, I believe its name is. Something I skipped over was this fern. I don't know what fern this is, but I love it. I cut it into a couple spots and pinned it into the moss. And then I have this one, which doesn't actually have any leaves off of this one, so I'm hoping it will grow one there. And then this is my Obliqua Bolivia, which I planted all the way down there, pinned right here, and I have his new growth. It's gonna grow like that. Making our way back over here, I have this shelf that I made, which does impede the hole I made at the very bottom. But this shelf has my other Jehoii. This is the bottom cut. This one I really neglected, so he's kind of silly right now. Then I have an Amphioxus. I actually have 2 Amphioxus, and I did just get a new leaf right here. We have my Anthurium cuticuense and my Ilsamanii. This is actually the Ilsamanii I have decided to keep. He is so cute. Here is our older leaf. And this leaf we got after putting him in here, so It's coming in still, but you can tell it's a absolutely gorgeous leaf, and I'm so happy with it. Then we have my pink lady peperomia, which since putting in here has only gotten pinker because of the lights. Then we have my begonia species dark Leo. I don't know which one this is, but we got a new leaf just now. And then this is a Brantianum from my mom. We have some really cool orchids and ferns. So this is an orchid. I don't remember its name, but it's really cute. I freaking love this thing. Like, that is so cool. And I took all these are off of their mounts. They're just on the moss that they were in before. Then I have this Pyrosa or Pyrocella. This is a fern. And then another Lepenthes, which I'm kind of hoping will like grow its roots into the moss and then make more cakeys, but he's really cool. Then right here I have my lance leaf Syndonium, which is doing super duper well. I tucked him into the back corner and he just looks really fun hanging right there. Then I have a pink princess. This guy's having some trouble acclimating, but he also has like a bunch of all pink leaves, so it's kind of to be expected, especially since he just gave me another new leaf and it is also completely pink. Then I have this little tiny anthurium, which I mistreated a lot. I don't know which one this is. Then I have my white knight baby right here. He's cute. And then a little strawberry shake right there. I've officially told you about all the plants that are up there. We are officially to the bottom row. I have my variegated domesticum, which I think reverted, but we got a full lime and then we got a full green. So it's possible we'll get another variegated one soon. I have a bunch of these Syndonium props in here. And then my sport variegated monstera, doing really good. This green should come out a lot more now that we have actual good lighting. I have my Ficus Velosa pinned in the back. He actually grows all the way down. He's gonna climb. Then I have this, I think this is Magnificum. And then I have a strawberry shake back here, which is doing very well. This leaf is already dying, don't worry about it. I have my variegated Spa Peru from Botanicas right here. This is my Begonia Raja, my Oblique, which got a considerable haircut. I traded a lot of Oblique to get plants and then also just the cabinet. I have my Glorious back here, which I got from Brooke. I did cut this one once, but honestly, I think it looks really cute now that it's a little smaller. I have this variegated Peru back here. Is still hardening off. You can see the new leaf is finally you can finally start to see it. All variegated Peru leaves come in very green. Like this one used to be green and now it's like yellow. This one, finally, we're starting to see some yellow hardening on it after like 4 months. B Magnificum hybrid back here, this guy. And then right here, we have my Ace of Spades. I did kind of take a wire and pin these leaves together so that they would present nicer in the front. This is an Ilsamanii. He's cute. He's growing in right now. I'm kind of just like letting him do whatever he wants. Then I have this variegated Burley Marks. My Poppy is in the back right there. He's very sunburnt, but he's living his best life now. This is another Syndonium cutting I have that's like kind of hardening in. This is my Florida Beauty. We're about to see what this new leaf is doing. This did come from a green. Back here we have the Philodendron, like Sharonii or Patricia. It's like one of the two, but it has a leaf that's like hardening off. But yeah, we have a new leaf on this guy as well. Like everything is just throwing hands right now. I potted up my Alocasia I got from Devin back here. There's a Zabrina. I'm gonna pull him more forward, and then I have my little variegated guy and then 2 stems of Begonia Amphioxus that I'm rehabbing. So yeah, and that's all of my rare plants. I literally got rid of everything else. Like I sold so much, you guys don't even know. Well, I guess you do now, but yeah, that's my freaking living wall. I have a couple plants to add to this. I have this Serpens I'm going to be planting in there. And then I'm going to mount this orchid. That's the guy right now. And we are going to do some more work on him before the end of this video. But like, it's just so amazing, you guys. I cannot wait to show you in like 3 weeks how good it looks. Oh, and I did fertilize everything with liquider. There's liquider in my water already. So when I like spray it, because I water with a mister. One thing you are going to notice that we are missing is the computer fan, USB plug-in computer fan. I am going to buy one literally right now with Chris. We're gonna go to Best Buy and we're gonna get one. And Chris needs to get something too, so that's good. But yeah, so I'm gonna be putting that in there and I'm gonna be attaching it to the door. I'm also still needing to get a humidometer, but yeah. Things are going well. You guys even believe though that this is literally in my house and that I built it? I didn't buy that. I put that together with blood, sweat, and tears, real human tears that I cried. Wow. Okay, hello. So, they don't sell USB fans at the Best Buy. So I have to get one, which means I don't have a hydrometer, whatever you call it, and I don't have a USB fan. So you're gonna see that stuff in the update that I film later. Oh, hello. Hello, Miss Lee. Also, you guys, the hair looks so good. I feel like myself. I feel like this is how I was supposed to have been born looking. Okay, what I do have though is we have the serpents to plant, and this Phalaenopsis schilleriana and this little begonia. And so what we're gonna do is mount them into the wall, and then we're gonna water the wall, and I'll show you how I water it. Also, just like you see how massive this thing is, like it's huge. I could get in it. It's literally massive. This took so long. I feel like people don't understand how big this is. It's freaking massive. What is cool is that it definitely does smell like plant in there. So we're gonna be putting the serpents down low. I thought a nice empty spot we have is like, I feel like kind of right here where the obliqua is. Again, I don't have a seal down here. I literally just have this weather stripping. So I think I would like to upgrade this or find some way to put something small down here and maybe seal that in, because I do worry, like, let's say I overwater it. If I overwater it, I don't want it to like leak out. You know what I mean? Oh, and two plants I didn't show you were, I actually have two of my sport variegated nodes growing in here. Remember when we potted my monstera and I like pulled that thing out? Well, they're growing in and they're doing really nice. He's so tiny. So he's like a little plug. I'll probably, or didn't I say I would start with serpents? I think I did. Now, we might experience some root loss because of the fact that this has soil roots, and we're gonna be putting it into moss where it might get some root rot, but it's a chance we're gonna have to take. I took this Ilsamanii out because I had a prospective Red Anderson trade. By the way, if you have a Red Anderson and you want an Ilsamanii, I will trade you this top cutting for either a sizable amount or a whole Red Anderson. It does have variegation on it. It's just kind of hard to see because the light's coming from behind. But anyways, it's a top cut. It'll start growing for you instantly. I'm rooting it. If anyone has a Red Anderson and they want an Ilsamanii or a mint variegated sport monstera, something like that, you can hit me up and I will trade you an Ilsamanii. You guys also always are asking me where I get my shears. My mom got these for me for my birthday. She like bulk ordered them from Amazon. All right, here we have a Begonia Blankii. It's very cute. I forgot to move this one over originally. He's more of a shade loving dude. Oh, I forgot, we have to move. Actually, I think I'll take this pink princess and I'll put it where I just put that begonia. I think with how pink the leaves are, I could use some more light and that spot gets like 0 light. So put the little pink lady right there. But how cool is this? Like now, whenever I take care of my plants, I can just sit here and look at all the things. Because they're like growing in an environment that is made for them. That's what I want this whole time. Like, why would I put my plants in a disgusting black box where I can never see them when I could do something like this. Sometimes the sphagnum moss falls down because literally all of this moss I hand attached with wire piece by piece. Like there's probably 200 teeny tiny little wire ties or more, you know, if we're being honest with ourselves here, like of me literally just like freaking tying things into place. And so sometimes stuff falls off, and so I'm gonna get some more moss and then like cover up the spots that are showing. But most of my ties, if you guys are curious, I found that using smaller bundles of moss was better, and I made these little ties and I made them like this so that you could easily stick this directly into the wall and it would go in without like any resistance, and you just push it in. Try to bend one side and then the other into the wall. I found that that causes more problem. So you want to make sure it's like, it's something like this. And then, oh my gosh, please. It's something like this. And then you would just take a little bit of moss, like literally this much. And then you just go like that. And then you push the shit in. And then you do that 1,000 times. And that's literally what I did to make this. Worth it. This is probably like the most meaningful thing I think I've ever done. I mean, it took me so long, my hair changed. I have a new hairstyle now, I'm sure you've seen. I've shown it everywhere because this is going to be my new thing. I saw so many girls like have this hairstyle, and I was like, wow, in another life maybe I can have hair like that. And then I was like, bro, I literally built this. I can do anything. So I decided to get the hair and just go for it, and it ended up looking good. So let's go get the water and we'll water this thing together. All right, and that's it. Thank you so much for going on this journey with me, for building this with me. This is the most rewarding thing I think I've ever done. I am so blessed that I've had Botanicas like show me how to do this stuff when I've been there with them. That was really cool to like apply what I learned from Maggie and Anya. I also want to thank so much Mother for sponsoring this video, this beautiful light, this full spectrum light that you're seeing come down. These are the Mother Girl lights. I will have them linked. Again, they are waterproof, full spectrum. They are so beautiful. I easily attach them with a magnet and a little sticky piece, and they are just living their best life, keeping my plants lit. One thing I don't know if I mentioned is I definitely planted all my Hoyas and orchids up top, because those are things I want to sun stress, and then I added in some philodendron and begonias, some that like more light, and then down low I have all of my like philodendron and more begonias, a couple of orchids that are a little more delicate, and then in this dark corner back here I have lots of begonias. But yeah, I planted everything here with a purpose, things that are more up high I made sure can take the light. I also just want to thank Benji Plant for making his video, because I wouldn't have made this if I hadn't been so inspired by his paludarium. Again, mine's not a paludarium, it's a living wall, but I just want to thank you so much for inspiring me, and also Ghost Honey's video. I'm not too worried about the lack of ventilation in here right now, because I found that with bigger enclosed environments like this, I personally have not really struggled with mold. I've only really struggled with mold in closed, very small, extremely poorly ventilated environments. And I find that in here, the plants seem to really soak up the water so the humidity doesn't stay too high for too long. Again, I can't tell you how humid it is in here because I don't have the meter yet. You'll see that in the next update video that I make. But yeah, if you want to make a living wall, go for it. If you already have a greenhouse cabinet, you're already half of the way there. I traded for the cabinet, so I did not spend the money on it. And I'll just put the total on the screen. I used or of how much I had to spend to make this. I would say most of the money went toward the magnet. I had to buy 4 like $5 or $6 magnets, and they were like $5 to $6 a piece. And then I had to buy like 9 cans of the foam that were $4 a piece. So like they're like, and I'm going to be taking I'm returning everything I didn't use, and I didn't use a lot. So of everything that I used, here's the total. Wow. Most people have to spend a lot more money. Like they have to buy the lights. Obviously I didn't have to buy the lights, they were sponsored. And then they have to obviously buy the cabinet and, you know, all that other stuff. So they have to buy plants to go into it. I literally, like, what made this so fun was that I literally just got to go plant shopping in my own house, basically, of what I wanted to stick in here, because I already had like all the coolest plants ever to put in here. That's it. That's actually it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Please share this video. I think that this is a really cool thing, and I probably would have done this earlier if I had seen a video of someone doing this. Unfortunately, I saw Benji's videos like way later after he posted them. So share this video if you like it. Maybe someone will see it and want to do it. Oh, one other thing I didn't do that Benji Plant did was he painted the sides of his paludarium, and he scaped the sides as well. So like right here where it's glass, he scaped this whole side and then painted the sides black so you can't see the foam on the side. I personally want light to be able to get in from the side, so I decided to not do that. I think that's everything. Obviously they'll be editing after this, but thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and tweet me at PlantMeAshley. Join my YouTube channel memberships, helps me do stuff like this full time and teaching you how to grow your plants, how to do stuff like this. I'm very excited to make more content around the living wall in the future, maybe an upgrade. I know some people take 2 Rudstas and they put them next to each other and they make one giant one. I think that's cool. Yeah, I don't know. Subscribe, share this video, like this video, and leave a permanent comment. It helps me out so much. And follow me on Instagram at PlantMeAshley as well. And you know what? I'll just have to see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much, Mother, for sponsoring this video. And yeah. Bye.
Thank you so much for all the extra channel support to Botanica's All the Green Places, Kim Klanowski, and Lauren Alexandra, who is also a new member. Welcome, Lauren. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next plant section. Bye-bye.